I'm like, this is the lesson she has to learn. Like this is,
Right.
I remember us talking to her in here. I'm like, Bella, like just think about real life.
Right.
When you're a little bit older and you're maybe working for someone or working on a business or whatever, you don't get to just like say something's hard, so I'm just going to not participate.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jackie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continuous support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Okay, we're back, and we are talking about positive mental attitude in the household and got some great stories to share today. We are going through sports, talking about basketball. We have tennis season coming up. We have basketball season coming up. We have track season coming up for Ellie now. And but speaking of tennis, I've always heard that you should never date a tennis player. You know why? Because love means nothing to them. Come on, that's funny. How come? How come you're not laughing more? I can always tell when you actually are really trying to not laugh, because instead of like not in other, if you don't think it's funny at all, you just put your eyebrows up and just kind of smile. But sometimes when you're trying not to laugh because you don't want to give me, that you don't want to encourage it, I think is what it is. You'll try not to laugh and you go, you kind of giggle on it.
I don't know.
Yep. Hey, you know what? I always wondered, how come bakers aren't wealthier? I mean,
don't know.
they make so much dough.
That's a funny one. That's a pretty good one.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's really bad.
That's pretty cute.
Okay. All right.
It is cute.
Back on track?
Yeah, back on track.
Okay, good. So we were starting to talk about a little bit more of some specific examples. Maybe you could just go through a little bit of, some of the scenario that we just went through with our Bella B.
Yeah, it's really great. I think all parents can relate to this.
Yeah.
Again, just like
By the way, just one thing for the audience. We never tell stories about our kids that would ever hurt them or like embarrass them in any way, shape, or form. But they also know that, we tell a lot of stories about ourselves when we've overcome things, and they're life lessons that we use now to be able to help other people understand how to navigate these things. Right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, like parents, we just need specific examples to see that we're dealing with the same stuff
versus generalities.
Correct. Yeah. And in our situation, we kind of hit on it a little bit in the previous episode, but we were dealing with a scenario where Bella, who we're very proud of, decided to go out for basketball this year.
Yep. First year ever.
And she's doing great. She's working very hard. She's outworking everybody in practice. Yep. She's one of those ones that has the best attitude. Even when she doesn't get a ton of play time because of whatever reasons the coach have chosen some other people in that game, she is just really good about being positive. She really has a PMA about it. I think she's super thankful that we gave her the chance to even do it. And so when she went out, we were very proud of her. We really didn't understand the commitment level of basketball. Yeah. It's probably a good thing we didn't, because we might have rethought the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 5 days a week of legit practices, or you're traveling for games and stuff. Thankfully, we don't have to travel very far. The longest we went was like 1 hour, but most of them are like 30 minutes away.
Right.
But still, I mean, how many games are this week? 4?
Yeah,
like 4 games this week,
Right. And that's just this example of this week. And it's been a season. I mean, it's like 3 months long of intense workout.
Actually, I think 4. We were just talking about it yesterday. This season is a full 4 months. Yeah.
Okay, it's 4 months. And so it's 4 months of full commitment, both mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I love it. I think it's great. I see the girls practicing. I see them at the games, and they have full schedules for high school. Some of them have practice early morning and then have to go to school. I mean, then there's games, and they are on it. I see, and at our school, they're very strict. If you don't get, I think, certain grade point average, you don't get to play. They pull you from playing that next game until you get your grades up to where they need to be.
Yeah.
And I am in complete support of that, because we need to do what's important first. And then again, playing is fun at the end. Do our work first and then play hard. And so, so she's just been working hard. And I think it was interesting because some of the other kids did not play a sport this season.
Right.
So as she's been at many of these practices, it has felt like some of the kids have had to pick up some of her chores, some of her, responsibilities.
Yeah.
And, we would kind of talk to her and be like, I just want to remind you, you still have responsibilities. We really want you to get everything done before you leave. I mean, practice doesn't start till 4 or whatever it may be. So there's no reason not to get it done during the day. And I think at first, the first couple months, she did a great job of it. I really do. I think she was on it. I think there was very little slacking. I think she was so excited. I think she hadn't gotten worn out. She was really on it. And then about, the third month, towards the end here of a season, she started getting tired. I think not just physically, although that's part of it. I think though, like just mentally, I think she's been getting a little tired. And because of that, like all of us, when you're been running and gunning for so long, you're ready for a break. And I think some of that break time would be her coming home and maybe not fulfilling all her responsibilities and not doing it as hard as she could at home because she needed some downtime. And I don't blame her. I really don't. But in our house and how we run things, that's not really possible when you yourself chose what you wanted to take a break from. Now, if she'd come to us and probably asked, hey, I'm a little overwhelmed with some of this stuff. When can I have some downtime during the day so maybe I can rest, read, replenish before I have to make it to practice? That might have been a little different. But unfortunately, in her situation, she took it upon herself to decide some of her resting and relaxation would be through not doing some of her homework. And on her own, because it got a little difficult, some math got a little difficult. Typically, we are very much like, hey, if you are having a hard time, please come to us. Let's look over what's going on. Let's get some math tutoring done. Let's get you on track because we don't want you to miss some of the basics. Hers continued to kind of build up on her where she didn't ask for help. And then I decided to do a homework check one day. And chat with some of the other girls that are on the same math level as her.
Yep.
And come to find out, she was a good 2-3 weeks behind on her math. And unfortunately, she was at a point of really she needed some help. She needed some tutoring because she was so behind. She didn't even know how to get caught up. And none of her sisters, who typically they all work together, felt like going all the way back to 3 weeks ago. They were just, doing their math on track.
Yep.
And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
And so this all came to our attention. And that's kind of what we were dealing with for a little bit. It's sad and it's not cool, but we had to press into it because slacking on what needs to get done does not give you the privilege to go do what you want to do for fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had to address it, right? And then we had to put in some standard. You and I talked about it first.
Let's talk about kind of what we did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, first you found out.
Came to my attention, yes.
You found out, and then, you were really upset. You know what I mean?
I was super disappointed.
And rightfully so.
I was super disappointed.
Because it's not so much that she's behind in math. It's that, okay, this is what we both realized. You're like, wait, so it was getting hard and you got behind. And then instead of facing into it somehow, what you decided to do was try to make it just go away by not doing anything. And it's so not the way life works, right?
No.
And so, we were both kind of like, dang, that's kind of deceptive. What are you doing, right? And then, of course, I know for me, it instantly turns into, do you realize how much I'm already doing for you?
Yes.
And how many privileges we're giving you, and now you're kind of skirting your responsibilities. And so we had to take a deep breath. I mean, just being real. We sat right here in the office, and we had to take a deep breath. And then you and I, said, okay, how are we addressing this? Well, that's one thing we always do really well. We make sure that we get on the same page. It's not mom is ever tougher than dad or dad is tougher than mom. It's no, we're a unified force.
Correct.
And we back each other fully. And so then we just decided that, okay, we're going to have this conversation. So let's think about this. Because, the knee-jerk reaction is we're pulling her from basketball. This is just silly, right?
Yeah.
But then, we're like, okay, but we can really use this as a learning lesson. And so what we did was we put it on her. And we gave her the chance. I think this happened on a Thursday or something, right? And we gave her a chance to actually catch up on all of them. She couldn't do anything outside of normal chores, normal homework, and basketball. She couldn't do anything outside that other than work on this stuff. And she's going to have to get all like 18 of these things done, these lessons done. And she's not done by, I think it was Saturday night, because you needed to correct stuff on Sunday. Then she's not going to basketball until it's done. Right? So I remember her sitting in here and looking at us and being like, oh, goodness. You know, when your stuff catches up with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she sat here. I mean, of course, those conversations hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like any parent that have to have those conversations, which we all do, like it hurts. You know, here Greg and I are sitting here, and it kind of goes back a little bit to like we were saying, like, you know, we were so proud of her about basketball. We're now engaged in the basketball. We're enjoying the basketball. You know what I mean? Like the kids we're all doing it as a family affair.
Right.
Like, and now like, because one, you know, action that she decided, we're all going to miss out on basketball. Like a little bit, right? Like it was kind of like, oh no, you know, but again, we got to work hard, then we play hard. And I just think that as she sat here, of course, all the junk caught up, right? It's like we asked her, why do you think this is okay? Why didn't you ask for help? You know, we went through all of our questions in the most peaceful way.
Yeah.
We let her talk. We didn't just cut her off. We didn't just, you know.
She came up with her scenarios.
She did.
Kind of her sort of excuse scenarios. But she, you know, for her, that's what they were. Got behind, didn't know what to do. Things got hard. The other kids were ahead of me now. I just figured I'd work on other topics until I can get some help, you know, later. But she didn't ask for any, right?
None.
And so she just started creatively avoiding it.
Right.
And, but, you know, she's distracted enough where she could probably convince herself, like, okay, it's, you know, because she's busy. And so, yeah.
And so with that, you know, it was hard. And we did, though, set out the guidelines.
Yeah.
And we told her what's expected now. My dad is excellent at math. So she was.
I was just going to say, and you're right. It was hard. It was hard on us. Like, because I remember when she walked out of this room after we told her this, I remember thinking, I don't know how hard these math things are. I don't know if she's going to get them done.
Right. No, you were very concerned, actually.
I mean, and I'm sitting here like, it was really kind of like a dad heartbreak thing. She's been working so hard to try to earn some respect on her team because this is her first year. And a lot of these other girls have been playing since first grade. And they kind of treat her a little bit like an outsider to a certain extent, that she always has to fight her way in. And I'm like, if she starts missing a couple practices, these coaches are tough. They don't like go for that.
They don't give that.
And and that was the other part of it. Like if she wasn't done by Saturday night, she had to call her coach and she had to tell the coach why she's not going to be at practice on Monday. Right. And I'm just like, oh, I hope this doesn't happen. You know, like, I mean, but at the same time, as a dad and knowing what our priorities are,
correct.
I'm like, this is the lesson she has to learn. Like this is, I remember us talking to her in here. I'm like, Bella, like just think about real life.
Right.
You know, when you're a little bit older and you're maybe working for someone or working on a business or whatever, you don't get to just like say something's hard, so I'm just going to not participate.
At all. Yeah.
Like that's not how things go.
No.
You can't do that in your marriage in the future. You can't do that in, you know, your parenting. Man, this parenting thing's hard. I'm just going to kind of pretend like, you know, I don't have to do it. Like this is a life lesson, a big one. So sorry to interrupt you, but
and that's how we took it as. That's how we take all these kind of corrections. These are life lessons. I mean, sometimes people kind of, oh, it's just a small thing. Okay, but small things turn into big things. We're trying to raise kids that are changing the world in the future. Yeah. We're not trying to skirt our responsibility as great parents. We are saying, you know, we need to press into these because it matters. And it would be easy to be like, hey, Bella, just get the math done and don't do this again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Right.
But no, this took real action. And for us, we looked at it and like you said, some of the math problems were really hard. You know what I mean? They're in high school math. This isn't, you know, and you know, I will tell you, Greg and I go back and forth all the time. We could sit there and, because you have like an engineering background and love math really, but like some of these you're like, okay, I know she needs to finish it, but I don't know when they're using this stuff. Like this is
some of it's just like,
and we go back and forth with that all the time.
Bad busy work you'll never use, you know. So
and we go back, but we're not ever going to say that to the kids. Where it's like, you know, hey.
Sure. But that's different. It's like, you know, okay, so you're struggling with a problem, but you've worked on it and you kind of get the point of it. Like, that's one thing. It's another thing when you're just avoiding it.
Correct. And not doing it at all.
You're avoiding hard things. That's a whole different thing.
And so we go back and forth with that together, not in front of the kids, on how to handle it. So that's why, like, even with all the math being so difficult, you know, I remember asking, I'm like, okay, well, if we think the math is hard and we're going to have to Google it to figure this out, like, maybe we should ask my dad if he's willing to help because he loves math. Like my dad was an engineer, loves math. My mom was an accountant. They're kind of number people.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's a great idea.
Right.
Why don't you ask her to figure this out with him?
Yeah, we didn't ask your dad. We had Bella ask.
We had Bella ask my dad. And here's the best part is my dad is in a 2-hour, they're 2 hours ahead of us. They're on
Eastern time.
They're on Eastern time, right. And so his time being available was not the time Bella would like it to be available. And so I think that it was neat for her because she had to get up early. My dad was available at 8 a.m. her time, which means she had to get up at 7:15 to be on the call by 8 because, that's like 11 my dad's time. And then he has other stuff to do for the day.
Yeah.
And so she like had to, or 10 or whatever it is. And like, she literally had to think this through and figure it all out.
That's right.
Because
and still do all of our other stuff.
And still do everything else. And I will tell you, I'm so happy to say it did work out for her. Like you said. By Saturday night, it worked out.
Yeah, it was funny because, it's Saturday night because I think we thought there was 17 of these that she needed to do. And I'm like, she's like, Dad, I got it done. I got it done. She was just telling me and she just seemed like a different human being. She started acting like a different person. It's like this guilt was off of her. She was caught up. But I remember her saying, I remember being like, Bella, you got all 17 done. She's like, actually, Dad, I found out it was 21.
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh. But she got them done.
Well, and it's neat that you said, and now she's like a happy person. She was. Like anytime we get guilt off, we feel like new people. You know what I mean? She was forgiven. Yeah. She felt forgiven and seen by us. Then she got the work done.
Yeah.
And then the best part is now she's like 4 or 5 ahead.
Yeah.
And now she's joking with her siblings, like, if you need some help, you know what I mean? But she's a new person, lighthearted and thankful.
And of course, our philosophy has been from day one that, you're forgiven and forgotten.
Always.
Like we won't hold this over her head at all.
No.
Like ever. Well, unless she brings it up, we don't bring it up. We don't sit there and look over her shoulder and expect her to do something like this again.
No.
She did it. She did her thing. She made a mistake. She fixed it. She owned the mistake. And now we have forgiven it, but also it is like it never happened.
Right.
Like it never happened. So she don't have to carry guilt or, a check mark against her,
Nope.
in our house in any way, shape, or form. And so, she's like a different person.
And I love it.
It's
and
so fun.
Needless to say, what is it, districts this week? Is that right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
She has districts this week, 4 games.
Yeah.
She's so excited. She's played a lot of game this week already. And we're only halfway through the week. The varsity coaches are recognizing her. She's already excited to see what comes for her next for tennis. Yeah. So again, the guilt's gone and now the freedom begins.
Yeah. Nice job, Mama.
You too, Dad.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.